Hey guys, so we hear a lot, be yourself. We're taught that from day one, but then again, it seems really difficult for anyone to be themselves. So I get the impression that behind the message of be yourself, what you're really hearing is be your best self, which is not the same thing at all. Um, I think they even make memes nowadays that will say things like, don't be yourself, be your best self. Yeah, I think stuff like that actually exists, which is mind blowing. Um, so even the idea of be yourself, it's like when you go on a date, it's like, oh, I'm nervous. A teenager, not even a teenager, an adult, a young adult says, I'm nervous about my date. It's, just be yourself. That's the advice you're given. But hidden somewhere in that be yourself is like, if you be yourself, you will achieve a certain result. So it's still goal oriented. Truly being yourself is not goal oriented, because being yourself is the goal in and of itself. So you go on the date, you be yourself. Um, Maybe the date doesn't go so well, but the real gift is not how the date goes. That's not in your control. Maybe the girl likes you, the guy likes you. Maybe he or she doesn't. Maybe it's a total disaster. Um, but the real gift is to be yourself. Um, to be natural. And if the date goes poorly and you're upset by that, well, you own that too. Whatever satisfaction you can get from the outside world will be fleeting. So if you think, oh, this date, like, I've been waiting for this for a long time, and that's totally natural, so that should be accepted too. Um, but if you genuinely think that if this date goes well, if you hook up with this person, if you start a relationship with this person, if you genuinely think that's going to be the key to your happiness, it's not going to work. So being yourself is the gift in and of itself. Anyway, I wanted to call this video "Be Natural." Just be natural. Um, we're taught to be false. We're angry, but we keep it in because, well, that's not spiritual. Or especially in spirituality circles, like, anger is not spiritual. Or religious circles, anger is not, anger is against God, or anger is ego. Um, in general, even outside of spirituality, anger is seen as something kind of nasty. So we're taught to keep that in. Um, Even sadness, I guess, hopefully in spiritual circles, it's more accepted. But even then, not really. You can make a. I've made posts before sharing my struggles, and people will say things like, "Well, cheer up," or like, "It's not so bad," or "You are bigger than your struggles. Just do better," or just someone was telling me the other day, just choose not to suffer. So like now, it's not even okay to be sad. you know and in real life, even, people are very, don't cry, come on, don't cry. Why? you know we're taught deeply not to be natural. If you want to cry, then cry. If you're angry, then get angry. mm, be natural about what you just be natural and be authentic. Be honest, be sincere about what you want to do. Now, I've posted things about this also, and people get scared a bit by this. They say, yeah, be natural, go murder, go rape. Like, okay, firstly, well, I didn't realize you were repressing that so much. I'm not really feeling like murdering anybody. I could feel hatred towards somebody, and actually, I think you should feel hatred. If you feel hatred, then you must feel hatred if you want to feel love and peace. You have to accept that hatred, but maybe instead of murdering that person, well, you print out a photo from Facebook and throw darts at it. You know? There are safe ways to be natural. Um, But it is scary. I understand that it's scary to be natural because we're so used to keeping everything under control. We think that if we just manage well enough, if we control everything just right, nothing bad will happen. But actually, the reason we suffer is because we're controlling. So, on the one hand, we don't want to suffer, but on the other hand, we're very afraid to lose control. So normally there comes a point we'll control, basically what usually happens is we'll control so much, we'll suffer so much that finally we can't take it. And in that moment we'll just stop controlling. It's just too painful, it's too miserable to go on controlling, so we'll just drop it naturally and we'll, okay, I don't care if I lose control, I can't suffer like this anymore, and it just drops. It could come back, but it will never fully go back to where it was once we have that realization, I believe. I think possibly it's also possible through wisdom you can see the folly of I'm controlling and it's not working. You can see that, well, I really have less control than I think, and maybe you could drop it that way also. Not exactly sure. I'm sure there's multiple ways, but the fact is, we suffer because we try to control. And control is resistance, resistance to what is. When we stop controlling, we're just totally in tune with what's going on. So it's scary. It's scary to lose control. Again, once we make that realization that, well, we really don't have any control. I mean, yeah, if I want to make this video, I can. If I want to push stop and stop the video, I can. If I decide later I'm not going to upload this, I can. Some people get into the trap of thinking, well, we have no power at all. We can't do anything. No. You certainly can choose to do things, but your ego has no power. So when you start micromanaging in your head, well, if this happens and there's no power there. That's an illusion. So we can realize that that's not real. But even then, it's scary because we're admitting the reality. We're admitting the uncertainty of life. Life is not safe. Life is not secure. Life is not certain. Life is very fragile. We're very vulnerable. People die all the time from accidents, from aneurysms. I mean, look at the coronavirus pandemic. Nobody expected that. Just things happen all the time. We can't ever control so much. We have much less control than we think, and even over ourselves we have less control than we think. We're human beings, we're animals, we have these desires and these processes, like, sex is bigger than the mind. When you really get into sex, that controlling goes away, or love even more so. You really dive into love, that control goes away. Or anger, if you've really ever been really angry, you're no longer controlling, you're totally present. Or when you're in deep sadness and just having an outpouring of tears, then you'll also lose control. That's actually the truth of life. There's no control in the ego sense. But it can be scary because we're used to controlling. We're used to thinking that, well, I can somehow control things. It's a defense mechanism. That's all it is. It's a defense mechanism. It's more comfortable for us to think that we have control than to just stare at the truth as it is. But it's interesting. Once you take that leap, once you see the truth as it is, yes, it's uncomfortable at first. It's scary. It's painful even. But once you really dive into it, you realize, there was nothing to be afraid of, really. Fear may come in again, pain, all of this. It's a process, and it has ups and downs. But once you have that realization that there's nothing to really be afraid of, then you're gonna keep moving forward. So we're afraid to be natural because we're afraid to lose control. Um, and it is a risk. You who knows what will happen when you can't know. It is a risk to lose control. You can't know what will happen if you put the armor down. Um, but again, there comes a point where you have to take that leap because the other way is too miserable. An example I wanted to share. I am in sobriety. I have been for a few years now. I had a issue with drinking and drugging, and it's natural for me not to drink now. I don't want to. I explored that. It was miserable. There came a point where I would black out, wake up the next day, and be like, wow, I don't even remember what happened. That was a complete waste. And now I woke up, I feel like shit, and nothing was solved. So I explored that, and I found that didn't do anything for me. So now, naturally, there's just no reason for me to do that. Of course, sometimes I could get frustrated and say, well, it'd be nice to get drunk right now. I mean, I don't even really do that anymore, honestly. But there's a deeper desire in me that says, well, that's not going to do anything, so don't do that. So be natural doesn't mean, go shoot up heroin, go rape, go murder. We know that nobody wants to murder. You're going to feel guilty. You probably, hopefully, have feelings. You hopefully have some sort of compassion for people. And there's the law. Nope. There's just no. Hopefully, you have a deeper desire not to murder than to murder. So just be natural about that. I'm saying just be natural about everything. This is how things tend to kind of work out. Yeah, you might go a little bit crazy. You might screw up your sleep schedule. You might say something nasty to your girlfriend. You might, who knows? That's the thing. You don't know what's going to happen. But in my experience, nothing irreversible ever happens as long as you remain vulnerable and honest. Okay, if you make a mistake, if you say something nasty to your girlfriend, well, when you calm down, you apologize. If your sleep schedule is messed up, well, if it's really a problem, there'll come a point where you readjust. And if it's not a problem, well, maybe you were just pretending it was a problem. Maybe you can go to bed at whatever time you want. But it's so important to be natural. And when I say be natural, I wanted to say also it's do what comes easiest to you. If it's easy for you, if you're anxious right now and that just feels like that's just what's coming up, then just be anxious. If you're sad, then just be sad. If you're in love, then just be in love. If you want to meditate, meditate. If you want to dance, dance. If you just want to lay in bed and hate the world, just do that. Just whatever comes easiest to you, just do that. Fearlessly. Of course, there will be fear. Again, it's the fear of losing control. But there comes a point where you start to ignore that fear and follow your heart anyway. So just do what comes easiest to you. Self-improvement is such a part of our culture, and it's touted as positivity, and even the spirituality has an element nowadays of self-improvement. And in a way, I can see, I actually appreciate self-improvement to some degree more than I did in the past, because I believe that the motivational stuff, like, just keep going, don't give up, I actually believe that's positive. This is a bit of a battle. It does take time and patience, but it's a subtle battle. It's a subtle battle. When you see the people who say, I'm going to get up every day at 6 o'clock and go for a run, take a cold shower, and I'm going to do 3 new hobbies, and then I'm not going to masturbate, and that's a common one. I'm going to sleep 9 hours every day, very rigid. That's not the right battle. That's not going to bring you joy. That's control. There's no joy in control. But if you say, I'm going to wake up today and, maybe I didn't feel like waking up today. Maybe I felt like blowing off my obligations. And if you can blow them off, then that's fine. But if it's going to screw up your life, then you just get up, get out of bed and do what you need to do. Sometimes we suffer so much, so we ask, is this life even worth it? And sometimes the only thing you need to do is just get out of bed and say, yes, it's worth it. I'm suffering now, but I will continue. That's strength. That's the strength that you need. A karate master, his name's Funakoshi. He's the guy who brought karate from Okinawa to Japan, which made it an international art. He said, don't think that you have to win. Just think that you don't have to lose. So you don't need to win. You don't need to become the best version of yourself. You don't need to be the most attractive, sociable, wealthy, fun-loving guy. You just need to get up every day and persist. That's all. Just don't lose. Just keep going. Even if it sucks, just keep going. Just keep persisting, and things will get better. That's been my experience. So yeah, be natural. Do what comes easiest to you. And this is where love is found. If you can be honest about your anger, about your tears, about your suffering, if you can be if you can be honest about your love, your sexual desires, if you can be honest about everything, then and only then can you be honest about love and joy and peace. You can't fake peace. You can't say I'm peaceful. You can sit and Hare Rama. But that's fake. Real peace can only come from being real. So you must suffer deeply, authentically, in order to be at peace deeply and authentically. It's the only way. Things do get better. As we authentically live our suffering, our trauma, our pain, they will start to go away. And those negative experiences will give way to more peaceful experiences. Things do get better. It's okay to want things to get better. That's why we're here, right? Things will get better. But you don't need to go making a goal out of that either. Because if you can just be natural in this moment, which is the only moment we have, tomorrow is not guaranteed. If you can be natural in this moment, you already have everything you need. Enjoy it. Enjoy life. You're alive. Enjoy your anger. Enjoy your falling in love. Enjoy your suffering even. It's a human experience. Just, if you can be natural in this moment, it's no guarantee that your date will go well. It's no guarantee that you'll get material success. But that stuff doesn't matter. That stuff can never fulfill you. So just be natural. And in that way, you have everything you will ever need. Okay, guys, take care.